By popular demand, it's now time to talk about sciatica. Sciatica is a term that refers to any pain that runs down your sciatic nerve. The sciatic nerve is formed when 5 nerve roots leave the lumbar spine and join together, and then that fiber will travel down the back of the leg, and then it will split again once it passes the knee. Sciatica is the pain that radiates down this pathway. It's commonly stated that up to 90% of cases of sciatica are caused by spinal disc herniation, which is also called a slipped or bulging disc. A bulging disc is formed when the soft inner part of the disc pushes through the tough outer exterior, and this bulge can then push on nearby nerves, which can lead to pain. But that 90% estimate could be a little bit exaggerated. For example, this paper showed the degree of disc displacement seen in MRI did not correlate with any subjective symptoms, nor did nerve root enhancement or nerve compression. Another showed that in more than 2/3 of patients with sciatic symptoms on one leg, there was no pain on the other side despite nerve compression being present. And a systematic review published in 2007 analysed data from 35 studies, and they found that in about 90% of cases of sciatica, the sciatic nerve wasn't even the thing being compressed, it was actually other nerve roots. Overall, these studies suggest that a herniated or bulging disc can cause sciatica, but they're probably not as common of a cause as we thought. Because given there are many causes of sciatica, what will work for one might not necessarily work for others when it comes to improving the symptoms. And this is reflected in the research because at present, there is no evidence that one type of treatment is clearly superior to others, including no treatment. But anyway, you are here, maybe not you, to find out what we can actually do when it comes to improving sciatica. And trust me, it's not all doom and gloom. The first option is to just wait it out and try to maintain as much normal function as you can. And yes, I'm being serious because often all we need to improve sciatica is time. 90% of cases resolve by themselves in 6 weeks. I understand that sciatica can be quite debilitating, but it's very important you try to maintain as much activity as possible. Inactivity will only make it worse. However, if doing nothing is just too much to take, what about corrective exercises? Sciatica has a number of causes, so there's no single thing that we can focus on improving, so any exercise recommendations that follow are broad recommendations. In general, we can put these exercises into 3 groups: repetitive motion, sometimes called the McKenzie method, core strengthening, and nerve flossing. So first up, what is repetitive motion? It's motion that is repetitive. But the basic idea is that you pick 2 directions for your body to move in, and if one way worsens your symptoms and the other way improves them, then you would favor the second way. As an example, let's use lumbar flexion and extension. Depending on your pain level, you can start off by extending or flexing your lower back when laying down, and if one way relieves pain, then you can try to move in that direction throughout the day. Remember, motion is lotion, so to keep the body moving in any way we can is generally going to be a good thing as long as it doesn't hurt. The next group is core strengthening, which we could talk about forever, but in general, because the body moves in 3 planes, we want to strengthen our core in 3 dimensions. A very common way of achieving that is by doing the McGill Big 3, which is named after Dr. Stuart McGill, who was an absolute G in the science of lower back pain. The Big 3 are the McGill setup, the bird dog, and the side plank, which work the sagittal, transverse, and frontal planes respectively. I already have some videos explaining these exercises, which are linked either here or here. These exercises are aimed at improving core strength while still being as accessible as possible for people with lower back pain. If you are able to do them, or even a regressed version, you just need to do that version consistently and progress the exercise to a harder version once it becomes too easy. Building strength does take time, but you must be patient because sciatica can take a long time to develop and it can last even longer. And the last group of exercises is nerve flossing. Nerve flossing involves gentle movements to tension the affected nerve, helping to reduce inflammation, improve blood flow to the nerve, and decrease pain associated with nerve irritation or compression. And a review in 2022 showed that nerve flossing is an effective means for treating the symptoms associated with sciatica. So nerve flossing can work, but there's a few things to keep in mind. Nerve flossing should not be done at a high intensity, so try to keep your muscles relaxed and don't hold your breath, because it should never be painful, and always start slow and gradually increase the number of reps over time. To nerve floss for sciatica, all we need to do is to floss the sciatic nerve. And here's how we do that. So let's think about the position of the sciatic nerve. It starts below our knee, travels up the back of our leg, and then joins the spinal cord at about the lower back, and that continues all the way up to our brain. So think about what would happen to the sciatic nerve if I pull my toes up towards my shin, flex forward at the hips, and then tuck my chin to my chest. Essentially, I'm lengthening the sciatic nerve as much as I can, and we don't want to do that because it's going to irritate the sciatic nerve. But what we want to do is to create tension at one end with slack in the other. And then what will happen to the nerve is it will slide towards the tension end. Then if we reverse that, it's going to slide backwards. The way we do that is I'm going to create tension at one end by pulling my toes up towards my shin, and then I'm going to let it off by opening up at the hips, staying nice and upright, and then just finally finishing off by looking up at the ceiling. And now we will just reverse that, doing it all at once. But what I'm doing is I'm tucking my chin to my chest, flexing forward at the hips and pointing my toes. But we don't want to do one end at one time because we will be stretching it at the midpoint. If we go back and forth between these two positions, the sciatic nerve will be sliding backwards and forwards. And this is why it's called nerve gliding. The first time you try this, go easy. We'll start with 20 reps and then see how you feel the next day. If you feel all right, we can start building on it, and hopefully it is the thing that helps your sciatica. So those are the 3 groups of exercises that we can use to improve sciatica. And it's really a matter of trying them and seeing what works. Some of them might give you immediate relief and others might not. Every body is different in how it responds to exercise and experiences pain. So it's important to commit a decent amount of time to each of these exercises, and don't just do a couple of reps at the end of the video and when it doesn't work, call me a liar and move on with your life. That will never fix the problem. Also remember, sciatica may have taken years to develop, so it's going to take a decent amount of time to undo that damage. So it's important to be patient. Now, I wish I could tell each and every one of you that I had some secret trick that would fix everybody's sciatica in the world, but I don't have that, and that's not the way the body works. If I told you that, I would be lying. So if you learned something throughout the video or you just enjoyed it, like and share the video and subscribe to the channel. Or not, I'm not your boss.